Um, and in regards to him being such a great leader in the civil rights community, MLK Day is celebrated yearly amongst corporate offices, amongst the masses now. And it's funny because there was a time where it wasn't celebrated, and I mean like recent. Um, and I'm sorry, I wanted to see something because I I had an idea, and now I need to know what it is. And concept is how long have we been celebrating MLK? Nationally. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Says since this year, MLK Day has been for 40 years. It's been a national holiday since 1986, but celebrated for 40 years. But I think the funny story is I don't think it's been observed that long, to the extent of people taking days off and whatnot from work or companies closing down to, um, you know, it, to observe Martin Luther King Day, which is kind of a funny thing because in time people get to observe. Well, let me say this: people get the opportunity to make the choices of what's to be observed and what's not to be observed, especially from a company standpoint or a religious standpoint. If you look at the days that are on the holiday list, all of them are majority of them are some form of religious um, holidays. Now, I'm not here to bash holidays. Right now, we need to utilize them for time to plan, time to grow, and time to, essentially develop some kind of ideas that can push us forward and take the time with your families to build. That's what I use the holidays for. But I think the point is recognizing the leaders who gave us the opportunity to have this day off. And Martin Luther King Jr. is one of those ones who stood up against tyranny, who stood up against the civil rights movement, and did all the things that I think is right now the only or one of the only Black history outlets that's still in schools today. Given that the current administration is trying to push out so many different historical related events to Black people. The other thing too is history is important because all history goes back to a timeline that shapes what we should be understanding, how we got here, and what we should know. There's no way you're going to learn all the history, but you should have some kind of pocket on how you got here. And with that being said, I think one of the other important statements for me today is on this day last year, if I'm not mistaken, excuse me, on this day last year, if not 2 years ago, Biden's last day in office is what I'm thinking about. Biden's last day in office, 1/19/2025. He posthumously, I can't remember, after death. Excuse me, my language is not the best today, but it's posthumously. He posthumously pardoned Marcus Garvey on this day, 1/19/2025. So that's an important statement to make too, because he was an African leader between the years of, if I'm not mistaken, early 1900s and late 1800s. He developed and I'm talking about Marcus Garvey at this point, he developed what was called the United Negro. In oh my days, what's going on with me today? What's happening? The United Negro Improvement Association, and he founded that back in 1914. The point was to have the same type of advancements happen for the Negroes in the early years of the 1900s. But Marcus Garvey, Jamaican born, was trying to figure out the politics between Americas and how he could push his people forward, and along with the Pan-African movement, which was literally the trade line that went from the Americas to Africa. So, for the most part, that trade line was essentially called the White Star Line, because that was the main travel point between the slave trade. Just so you know, what Marcus Garvey is generally is known for, the United Negro Improvement Association, and through that he created the Black Star Line, which was supposed to be the black-owned division of the maritime function for the Pan-African America trade line. So they invested, the whole team, the UNIA invested into this Black Star Line, and it was a thing. It was definitely a thing. Like we have to look at the fact that these leaders, and I talk on Marcus Garvey a lot. He has one of the quotes on my documents and stuff, and sometimes you'll get called out for pushing your ideals. All of our ideals nowadays have to have some kind of basis, some foundation of fight. And it doesn't mean like fist fight or nothing like that. The foundation of fight means, what are we pushing? What system do we understand enough to push against it to make sure that it's serving us? Because the machine may not be serving us today. The machine may not be serving you. It may not be serving your family. And I say us from a black people perspective, but I really want to say us from a people perspective, because this is not one of those all lives matter situations. Black lives do matter. We get that. We're not doing the whole semantics thing today. Today, they don't give a shit about anybody. And I care about the advancement of our black people, of our brown people, the safety of our brown people, our black people, 100%. But now we live in a world where they just killing whoever. They'll just go get whoever. And when we talk about Martin Luther King Day, the fact that he stood in front of people for the civil rights of black people, and they want that hush. They want that to not be the thing that fuels fires. Well, something's got to be fueled, and it's got to be fueled by somebody. And I was listening to Deontay Gates. I think it's Gates. I'm sorry. The dude who does the Shrimp and Grits podcast, Grits and Eggs podcast. I got to get it together. The Grits and Eggs podcast. And he told me that, well, I heard him say that he's been a year into podcasting, and now people are like viewing him as this like this vocal leader. He was like, don't peg me as a leader. Peg me as a person that's trying to build a sense of community. And when I heard him speak on the fact, like, because they'll isolate the leaders, and once you isolate the leaders, that's who they'll attack first. They'll try to get that person out the way, and then it diminishes the fact that community can stand on each other. They can live through and fight with each other. We bond together as a community. We do not lean on community as much as we need to. We fear the growth of our community sometimes. So the point is like, okay, people want a leader. They want that voice. They want, honestly, they want that martyr, because sometimes they might not be strong enough to do it. And he was like, well, don't peg me as a leader. Peg me as a person that's willing to build community. We have to be willing to build community. Don't make me a leader. Put me in a coalition. Make us a coalition of free thinkers. Because my concept and the way that I think about something may not be the same way he thinks about it, may not be the same way that somebody else thinks about it. However, all of us together can come up with something that will push us forward, and together we're stronger. We are. Like, we have to believe that. And I'm telling you now, like, from a belief perspective, I was listening to Pusha T song, Pusha T and Jay-Z, Drug Dealers Anonymous, the other day. And it brought me to this verse, the Jay-Z verse that is on there is crazy. And you know how I bounce back and forth between like words and music, right? But the belief system of people has to be solid. But the reason why I bring that song up is because Hov said a bar, and it got me. Hold on, and I took a picture of it because it was on my heart, right? And he said, of course I'm miracles with this shit. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Listen. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. When I heard that, my mind started cooking. It jumped on one of the wheels that was spinning. It was like, no, you got to process this one, big bro. You got to process this one. If you know it's real, it's real. You believe it. And this is my interpretation, because the shit's crazy to me. Like, and there's so many ways that I could probably spin this, but this was my initial spin on it. Is if you know it's real, why is it fearful? Why are you threatened by it? You know, we say it all the time, like, we real, like, I'm a real man, right? I'm real. Like, what's real about me? Well, I do what I say. I show up. I do everything that I say I'm going to do. All right, cool. You can't push me around if I know I'm real. You can try to threaten me with okay, but I know how to figure it out. I know how to I know how to stand 10 toes and I know how to be tough. So what's up? I can't be threatened. I can't be pushed around. Nothing unreal exists. The only thing that we believe that can hurt us is the stuff that we fear, and fear is unreal. Now, it's a dynamic statement. It's up for debate for whoever. I want somebody to dissect this too and give it back to me if they hear it or whatever. But the fact that, like, nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. If you believe in the fears that stop you from pushing forward, you will stop. If you believe that you can't do it, you will stop. And those fears, those thoughts, those ideals are unreal. Unreal doesn't exist. It exists as a figment of your imagination in your mind. But once you know it's real, it can't be threatened. You can't push it around. We believe in material things because we've seen material things. It's hard for us to believe in the ideals, the things that we can change, the things that we can push to a whole nother level. The idea that we could push the needle and push the balance to somewhere else. Because it's an idea, it's a vision, it's intangible. The only thing that links the intangible with the tangible is belief. So as you move forward today, Martin Luther King Day, as you get the chance to sit with your families, as you get the chance to be with who you need to be with, understand that they believed, these leaders, Marcus Garvey, I spoke of, Martin Luther King Jr., definitely, the Malcolm X's of the world, they believed in the ideals that we could be equal. I don't know about equal anymore, but that's my own personal opinion. But that's what I'm here for. This is my shit, so I can be personal about it. However, we do need to be empowered and we do need to bond together. We need to believe that our strength in numbers can be a thing, and we need to believe in how we build this community, how the leaders build this coalition, and how we can see us through to whatever our next plateau is. So make sure whatever you believe in is something that you're pushing forward to. You're trying to manifest. You're trying to get to a different level. It's not something that's materialistic. And as you do that, make sure you do it with love in your heart. And as long as you do, it shall be dope. Happy Martin Luther King Day, everybody. And thank you. Until next time.